Sprint planning is the first meeting that happens every sprint. Everybody has a role to play in it. The product owner brings the sprint goal and describes what the team should work on. Developers estimate the work and decompose it into tasks they need to do. What does the Scrum Master do during this meeting? As a teacher, coach, and facilitator, Scrum Master has an important role to play before, during, and after sprint planning. Let's see what it actually is. Hey, it's Daria here. I've already done a few videos describing the Scrum Master role. However, there are still lots of misunderstandings, so I decided to do a few more videos going into a bit more detail on the typical Scrum Master day. While the Scrum Master has a role to play during the events themselves, there's more to do even before the sprint planning starts. So I'd like to talk about this in 3 parts: preparation for the event, during the event, and after the event. Before I continue, if you like this type of content and learn something new from it, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment below. It really helps the channel and allows me to continue to create more videos for you. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of what I will be talking about in this video and more is actually part of my Scrum Master Startup Guide that you can get in my store. There I go into much more detail about the role and give you specific action plans you can implement from day 1. I'll put the link in the description if you want to grab a copy of that. Now, let's get back to the sprint planning. Preparation. If you don't want your sprint planning to run forever or end without getting to anything useful, you need to help your team get ready. I talked about the importance of preparation in my video, Better Remote Meetings. So what can you do to help your team prepare? The very first part of the sprint planning is to agree on the sprint goal, the why behind the sprint. Many teams are struggling with creating a good sprint goal. This is why this step and your facilitation of it are so important. You need to help your product owner come up with a good idea for the goal before you actually start the meeting. This will be a great input into the planning event at the very beginning. One more thing to prepare is the product backlog itself. I don't mean that you need to write user stories or anything. What I mean is that the whole team needs to be familiar with the upcoming work items and get most of their questions answered before sprint planning starts. That will save you a lot of time and make the meeting much more productive. To achieve that, you might need to work with the team, encourage and facilitate refinement sessions, chase some people around, and more. For the help with creating sprint goals, I encourage you to check out my guide, Product and Sprint Goals. In meeting facilitation. An important note I want to put here is that the Scrum Master is not the sole meeting organizer and host. It can be something you do when requested or needed, but it's the whole team's responsibility to get the most out of each sprint event. So what does the Scrum Master do during planning meeting then? Well, something that you would do every time are a few things like this. Remind the purpose of the sprint planning and the agenda. Drive the discussion around the sprint goal, the sprint product backlog, and tasks. Facilitate estimation, task decomposition, splitting user stories if needed. Keep the discussion on point and keep track of time. It's easier if you have a set of structure for the meeting so that you can always rely on it. For example, a clear agenda on the meeting description will help everyone stay focused. Once your team gets familiar with how the sprint planning is run, it will become much more productive and to the point. That's what the Scrum Master Startup Guide is for, as I share templates and concrete action plans you can rely on after the meeting. Okay, now that you have finally gotten to the end of the meeting, what's next? I know that the first thought that came to your mind most likely is that the Scrum Master now needs to send the meeting notes that he or she taken during the meeting. I'll have to disappoint you here. While a Scrum Master can help with this task, remember that it's the whole team's responsibility. It's good to have a rotation of who takes notes, if any, to keep that sense of ownership in the team and minimize the team's reliance on the Scrum Master. The way I like to approach it is by giving an easy-to-use template to the team that they can fill in. Now, having this documentation is not a rule, it's not mandatory, but I find it extremely helpful for the team as you can always come back to it at a later point for reference. For example, you want to check why certain decisions were made, information on capacity, and maybe any problems raised during discussion. It can be a great tool to use as input into retrospectives as well. In conclusion, as you can see, there are quite a few things a Scrum Master needs to do during sprint planning to help the team be more effective. And what is your to-do list for sprint planning? Do you have one? Share in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. One more thing that I wanted to mention is my free email course, 7-Day Challenge Week for Scrum Masters, that you can sign up for on my website, and it's free. It's a great way to boost some of your Scrum Master skills in just 1 week and implement some improvements in your team. I hope you learned something new. Remember to like and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers and Scrum on!